5, Lesson 3. Chapter 5, Lesson 3 is compare and order integers. So we want to scan the lesson and list two real-world scenarios in which we would compare integers. So we could use integers to compare distances below sea level. The reason I say below sea level is because when it's below, it's going to be negative. Very good. Here, comparing golf scores. Okay, so I guess, you guys know golf?
Yeah.
I guess it's like strokes under par and over par, right? Okay, good. You can use integers to compare temperature, weather, right? Okay, very good. All right, so compare integers. Now, to compare integers, you can compare the sign as well as the magnitude or the size of the numbers. Okay? Greater numbers are graphed farther to the right. Okay? So, when we're looking at a number line, the numbers that are further to the right are larger than the numbers that are further to the left. Okay? And of course, integers include positive numbers, positive whole numbers, negative whole numbers, positive whole numbers, their opposites, which are the negatives, and zero. Is everybody clear? So we have positives, negatives, and zero. So here, if I'm going to compare negative 3 to 2, which one's bigger?
Negative 2.
We're comparing negative 3 to 2.
Negative 3. Negative 2.
What?
Negative 2.
All right, once again, the further to the right on the number line, the bigger the number. The further to the left on the number line, the smaller the number. So if I look at this first number line, if I'm comparing negative 3 to 2, since 2 is further to the right, 2 is bigger, right? If I'm looking at negative 3 and negative 2, I'm looking at negative 3 and negative 2 on the second number line. Negative 3 is further to the left. Negative 2 is further to the right. So which one is bigger? Negative 2, right? Don't forget the negative. Very important. Because if you say 2, that means positive, right? Okay. Very good. So, for this next example, we want to fill in the blank with less than, greater than, or equal to. Very good. All right. So here we're looking at 12, and we're comparing that to negative 4. 12 to negative 4. If I'm looking at the number line, okay, if I look at the number line, 12 is further to the right.
So 12 is greater than negative 4.
Very good. So 12 is greater than negative 4. So for letters A through C, we're looking at negative 3 compared to negative 5. Now, which one is further to the right?
Negative 3.
Negative 3 is further to the right. So, this is going to be, what is going to be? Less than, greater than, or equal to?
Greater than.
Very good. This is greater than. For letter B, negative 5 compared to 0.
0 is greater than
0 is to the right, so it's going to be, the symbol is going to be
less than.
good, less than. 6 and negative 1.
6 is greater than negative 1.
Very good. 6 is greater than negative 1. Okay? Now, I also want to bring to your attention that when we are comparing without a number line, if they're both negative, if they are both negative, the lower the number, the greater the size. Is everybody clear? If they are both negative, the lower the number, the greater the size. You got that? Yeah. Make sure you write that down. For example 2, it says Justin has a score of -4 on the Trueville trivia game. Desiree's score is -5. Write an inequality to compare the scores. Explain the meaning of the inequality. So here, Justin has a -4, and Desiree has a -5. So if we're going to compare those, which score is greater than -4, right? So here, since -4 is greater than -5, Justin has a higher score than Desiree. Okay? Now this is actually what we just talked about. Although -5 is the lesser value in example 2, it represents the greater point deficit. Okay? And what they're talking about there is talking about the absolute values. Okay? And also what we just wrote down in the previous example. Okay? The lower the number, the greater the size. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, the temperature on Tuesday was 2 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature on Wednesday was -2 degrees Fahrenheit. Write an inequality to compare the temperatures and explain the meaning. Okay. So, we're comparing 2 and -2, right? So, the inequality that we will write is 2 is greater than -2, right? Or you could write -2 is less than 2. And we can put degrees Fahrenheit in there too. We can put degrees Fahrenheit in there too. When they say explain the meaning, they can just say, all they have to say, or all you have to say is that on Tuesday, since it was 2 degrees Fahrenheit, how is that compared to 2 degrees, -2 degrees? How is positive 2 degrees Fahrenheit compared to -2?
They are.
Think about how you feel. Is it warmer or is it colder?
2 degrees is warmer than
Right. 2 degrees is warmer because the temperature is higher, right? Than -2 degrees Fahrenheit. Is everybody clear? That's all they're asking when they ask you to explain the meaning. Okay? Got it? All right. So, ordering integers. When we order integers, you can use a number line to order a set of integers. Integers can be ordered from least to greatest or from greatest to least. You can also keep in mind what we talked about. The lower the number, right? The lower the number, when it's negative, lower the number, the greater the value, right? So, here, when we put -9, 6, -3, and 0 from least to greatest on the number line, all you're doing is plotting your points. First thing we're going to do is graph. So we graph -9, 6, -3, and 0. And when you put them in order, you just follow the number line from left to right. If you're going least to greatest, you go from left to right. You got that? And if you're putting them in order from greatest to least, you go from right to left. Got it? All right, very good. So here, method 2 is to compare the signs and the values. Okay, comparing the signs and the values. So if I compare the signs, if one is negative and one is positive, which one is greater, the negative or the positive?
Positive.
Positive. So those are easy, right? If they're both positive,
Which one's the higher number?
the higher number is the one's bigger, right?
Yeah.
If they're both negative,
The lower number.
the one with the lower number has the higher value. Is everybody clear? All right, very good. That's what they're talking about here. All right, so we want to put in the example, we want to order this set from greatest to least. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put it on a number line. Okay? So when we put it on a number line, we've got -4, which is about right here. That's -4. We've got 3, which is about right there. We've got 11, about, you see how I'm just estimating where it's going on the number line? That's an 11. That's 11. And then -25 is way over here, right? Right. So when I put it in order from greatest to least, now you got to make sure you're keeping an eye on when it says greatest to least, and then down here it says least to greatest. You have to make sure you pay attention to what direction they're saying, right? So we put them in order from greatest to least. If I'm doing greatest to least, I'm going from which direction to which direction? Greatest to least, right? So we're going right to left. Very good. So when we put it in order, we also want to put it in set notation. You remember with the brackets? Separated with a comma. So we have 11, 3, -4, and -25. Oops, I forgot my commas. And there you have it. Is everybody clear?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so the next one we're going to order the integers from least to greatest. Okay? We're going to order them from least to greatest. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put them on the number line. So we've got -18 right there. We've got 30 way over here. 12, there's 12. -6 is here. And 3 is right in between 0 and 6, right? And we're going to put them in order from least to greatest. Okay? So least to greatest. If we're going from least to greatest, are we going left to right or right to left?
Left to right.
Very good, very good. So, when we put this in order from least to greatest, we're going to have -18, -6, 3, 12, and 30. And there you have it. Now, so you can also, let's just do letter F with comparing the positives and comparing the negatives, okay? So when we do that, we can go ahead and we can put our positives and our negatives together, okay? So let's see, we've got -18 and -6. And then the positive numbers, we have 30, 12, and 3. So here, we can compare the -18 and the -6, right? So which one is smaller, -18 or -6?
-18.
-18. So then that's how this is going to be -18, -6. And then over here, we just compare the positives like we already know how to do that since grade school, right? So here, that would be 3, 12, and 30. And then don't forget your brackets. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, last one. All right, the table shows the lowest elevation for several continents. Order the elevations from least to greatest. Order the elevations from least to greatest. Now, here, they're all negatives, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, that rule that comes into play here is the lower the number, the higher the value, right? So, here we're going from least to greatest, so we want to look for the highest number, right? The highest number is going to be the lowest value, right? So, the highest number, the highest number, the highest value. The highest number is,
-12.
listen to my question. The highest number, not the highest value, is 418. Because we want to go from least to greatest, right? Remember, the highest number is the smallest value, right? So that's why we're going to have 418. Then the next one will be negative 156. Then the next one is going to be negative 105. Then negative 86. Then negative 28. And then negative 12. Is everybody clear?
Yes.
Awesome.